Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of Game Grinders. I'm your host, Aguskun, and today I'm happy to be joined by Derek. How are you, Derek?
Hello, thanks for having me, Aguskun. Doing
Mm,
really well. How are you?
My pleasure. Doing good, doing good. And yeah, today we're gonna comment like the one of the candidates of Game of the Year, The Last of Us 2.
Mm-mm.
I'm very excited to talk about this game. Um, I've been wanting to talk about this game with someone for a very long time. Finally, I got someone who actually played the game too because I didn't know so many people who played the game. So you played
I'm
the game.
shocked
You played
because
the
a lot of people play the game, right?
yeah, like a lot of people play the game, but I think the people I hang out in Twitch,
Mm,
they
they haven't
haven't.
played it.
Yeah. So
Yeah, fair enough.
did you play the game like straight away when it came out?
I played it maybe like a week into it, and luckily I wasn't spoiled anything because we knew like it was spoiled pretty early on, right? Like a few weeks before, and I managed to avoid everything. I
Yes.
played it pretty much in all in one, like three sitting. I played it nonstop. I actually really enjoyed it. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I played straight
Do you
away
want to
too.
get into like? Do we want to like get into like how
So I
what I
want
think
to,
of it, or?
yeah. First of all, I
Yes.
want to say like this is full spoilers on. So
Mm.
you've been
Mm.
warned, everyone. We are gonna talk about everything inside out.
Yeah.
The Last of Us
Spoiler
2.
alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert for everyone. So yeah, what is your general opinion of the because this game has been very controversial. So what is your general opinion?
Yeah. In terms of how much I enjoyed it, I finished it, and I finished it in one sitting. I played it again. I played it twice. So I enjoyed it, but if I think of it in terms of like, is it better than the first game? I think the first game is much more cohesive, more balanced. My main issue is the narrative choices they made in the second game, which we could get into a bit later. That's
So if you don't compare it with the first game, how does it hold?
oh man, yeah. I mean, like, yeah, it's gameplay. It's pretty fun. Like, I love stealth games in general. I think it's a good game. It's a very polished game, beautiful game, beautiful score. Um, yeah, it's just the narrative choices is my main issue, really.
So yeah,
Yeah.
like so you like let's talk about this too because this is has been important for the
Hmm.
game. The spoilers, like there was a lot of controversy with I think two main things. Uh,
Yeah.
First of all, there were a lot of spoilers. Some people weren't happy about what was happening in the story.
Well, that one big one, right?
Yeah, and well, I actually don't know because I never, I had
You avoided it.
yes, I didn't see any spoilers,
Hmm.
and also like the big controversy I was aware of, which was they were doing a lot of crunch for to finish the
Yeah. Yeah.
game. So
Hmm.
which made me feel a little bit bad actually to play the game straight away, but I did.
Yeah.
So choices, and yeah, like
Yeah.
so you didn't have any spoiler also when you were playing.
No. Like no. Well, I don't I don't I don't troll around Reddit, and I stay away from YouTube comments about the game.
Uh,
So luckily, I was never spoiled by it because it was spoiled like weeks ahead. People were saying this thing happened and blah. I hate it.
so
Um.
it's common people. So you didn't know that Joel was dying until you saw him dying on screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although like vibe wise, I knew it was coming. Like I knew.
So do you
Like I had
think?
a feeling.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling that something very bad was going to happen because people were like really angry. But
Yeah.
do you think that it's like Joel dying is enough reason for people to be so angry?
Oh, we're talking about people's reactions.
Yeah. We're talking because
You
there
know
was
what's
a really
crazy? This is what I thought, right? I thought because this is 2020 that people would have gotten used to it because this isn't. I feel like we are in the generation of the last 10 years of like having main characters die. I feel like this isn't that much shocking. Like classic, like no spoilers, but things happen in shows like Game of Thrones and Walking Dead. I feel like main characters die so much more these days. So I thought people were quite. I'm shocked that people were shocked, is what I'm saying. People were
well,
that outraged.
yeah. I don't think they were outraged because I don't agree with the main criticism of the game.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there are some valid points. Like people say, like it was a little bit out of character for Joe. Like for people who doesn't know, like at the beginning of the game, the main character of the
Mm.
previous game dies, and he encounters a new like a group of people and he trusts them, and then they betray
Yeah.
him and basically they kill him. So they think it's a little bit of out of character because in the first game who would have never done that.
Yeah,
Uh
that's
yes, go.
oh sorry. Oh no, I was gonna say like that's literally the first thing I noticed. Literally the moment I played it, it was like, wait, this dude knows he's wanted, knows he's trying to keep a low profile, and the first thing he says when he meets someone new is my name is eh. And that's he's a survivor, and like that's the first thing he did is tell people his name as a wanted man. I thought that was that's the first thing I noticed, and I think that's the main criticism, right? It's very out of character for him to do that.
Yeah, I think that's a valid criticism because if something is out of character for you personally, like it's difficult to enjoy the show anymore, like the show or like the game. So
Yeah.
I agree that is valid, but I don't share the feeling. Like for me, I don't know. Like I just thought in my head, like he's been 3 years. He was like 3 years in this town. He was not
Yeah.
anymore like traveling, like fighting zombies so much. Like
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I think like he in my head I just made this excuse like he was comfortable with his
Yeah,
new
you gave
life.
it some chance.
Yeah, and then
I see that.
like and the way he meets Abby is the person who actually kills him. Which we will get into her more because there is more controversy about Abby. Like
I love her. Quick spoiler about my opinions. I love Abby.
Spoiler alert: Derek loves Abby.
I love Abby.
So basically, he encounters Abby like she's being chased by like these zombies. So it's also like a very like difficult situation if you try to like relate with the character. Like it's not maybe the situation where Joel is gonna doubt about that person because she's been like almost killed, and then I don't think like he rescues her. So I don't. He said like, oh, I rescue this person, so they will not kill me probably. Like like something like that. So I made this kind of story in my head. So I could still enjoy the game, even if
yeah.
Joel,
Oh, it didn't ruin the game for me. I think if I'm gonna give it an excuse, then yeah, maybe Joel in that one moment because they almost died. Maybe he made that one mistake. Maybe in under normal circumstances, he's much more careful. I'm willing to give him that because it did feel. I feel like if I was someone that prevented the cure, it could have saved the world. I
Spoiler
basically
alert.
fucked up. I ruined it. I basically messed up an entire organization. I would feel paranoid my whole life, and I don't. Yeah, that's that's me. Maybe
Yeah.
Joel's different. Who knows?
Yeah, probably I will be paranoid too.
Yeah.
But you know, like it was 3 years, so people change
Yeah,
every
yeah,
years.
of course,
So
yeah. And Abby does have a personal connection. It's not just the cure. There's other reasons why Abby's pissed off.
yeah, of course, like Joel killed like many people in the first game, so obviously
Yeah.
some people
Including one very important person to Abby.
Yeah, her father. So so basically like this is the funny this is like we are talking about the game, but I think it's more about like also how people think about things. For me, Joel is not the good guy. If you think in the big picture, like you control him.
You mean we're talking about him in the first game, like the choice he made in the first
game?
Like
for me, this is like a whole, like a one single game, like
that. One story.
Yeah, because it's not The Last of Us 2; it's The Last of Us Part 2. So I think it's like the main character is Ellie, is not Joel for me. So I think he wasn't the good person in the. So for me, him being killed is not such a like shock. Like of course, like people are gonna want to kill him. So
yeah, it's the consequence of the choice that he made.
Yeah, but I admit that it could be a little bit out of character if you especially if you play the first game and then the second is like what.
I mean, it's not surprising that he died for me because like he did fuck up the whole world. And I'm not a dad, so I don't know what it feels like to maybe love a daughter figure so much that you're willing to keep the world ended than keep her alive. I don't know. Maybe if I'm a dad, that we might be different, but I have no idea. I don't know how to relate to that.
I mean, I can totally relate with him not wanting to kill Ellie. Like and maybe this is because I'm a scientist, but like for me, like things might go wrong. Like maybe she dies and then there is no cure. So it would be like kind
Yeah.
of like okay, I have Ellie already. I don't want to her to lose her, so I can relate with him
Yeah.
in that
I
sense.
guess so. Yeah. If I'm trying to draw the closest parallel to like a close relative, a parent, would I sacrifice my parent? I don't think I would.
Yeah,
Or it wouldn't be easy. It wouldn't be an easy
yeah,
choice.
it wouldn't be like totally.
Yeah.
Thank God we don't have to go through that
Yeah.
yet.
I mean, yeah. Luckily,
Um,
it's all hypotheticals. Hopefully.
so I want to ask you,
Mm-hmm.
what is the best? What would you say is the best part of the game? Like anything, like it could be graphics, like anything.
Moments. Oh.
No, like the thing you could say, like this is why
The
this
strength.
game deserves to be the game of the year. And
Yeah.
and what would you change? What would you think is like this game is a 9, but it could be a 10 if this. Maybe it's a 10 for you already. I don't know.
No, it's not. It's not. Oh man. I. It's so reductive, and it almost feels like a backhand insult. But I think the only thing it has going for it is maybe the graphics.
The graphics are amazing.
Maybe the acting is great. I love the voice acting as well.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I just,
100%.
for me, the writing kind of ruined everything. Yeah, I don't want to say ruined. I did not enjoy it. It's just the writing is the choices that they made in the story really threw me off, and I don't. I wouldn't put this in my best game of the year this
You
year. I
wouldn't
wouldn't.
even consider as a candidate.
It would be a candidate. I don't think it would win. It wouldn't be my top choice.
I think it's gonna win.
Um, it probably will win. It's sold so much. It critically did so well. I think I noticed that like this Naughty Dog kind of video game where it's basically half an interactive movie. I'm not saying that as a dig. I'm just saying it's what it is. These games do really well.
So this is actually something I wanted to talk. Like now that you said
Mm,
interactive movie,
mm.
I think well, this is not like a critic of the game, but I think it suffers a little bit from. I think this game wants to be a movie. Like for
That's the
me,
Naughty Dog way.
I think it suffers a little bit to this kind of like grinding aspect of like you have to collect like these bullets and do this and do that. Like you have like these missions.
Yeah, the pills.
Yeah, I
Just popping
think
pills.
especially towards the end, like I enjoy playing the game, but towards the end, I just wanted to go to the next cutscene. Like I was like, I don't want to.
Yeah,
kill-
yeah, yeah. I didn't care about the game by the end.
Yeah, I don't want to play. I just want to watch. So I think it suffered, and I think the creators actually did that intentionally. Like I think that they made it a game because they had to make up a game.
I remember the first game, the last chapter when they were in the hospital. That level was so long that because I wanted to see what happened at the end, I literally switched the game to easy just to like plow through the level and watch the ending. That's what I did for the first game. But I think the second game they balanced it better. I know we keep jumping around, but I did feel like the last act of the game is so weird.
It is. It is.
After when you went back to Ellie,
Yeah.
it's like it's such a weird choice. Like,
We're gonna.
do you want to talk about that now?
We can talk about that. Like, let's
Yep.
actually link it with something I have here. Like, I want to.
Yeah.
It's actually we're gonna link it with what we were saying before. For me, this game would be much better if the pacing was different. And
Yeah.
and it comes to this like you again like big spoiler like people were not very happy at all. I think that this is where the two main things like you have to Joel was killed and you have to play as Abby, so you have to play as the person, the enemy
Who killed your favorite character?
exactly. So for me, playing as Ellie and then playing as Abby and then going back to Ellie, it was
Making you fight Ellie.
not so much being fighting Ellie, like the pacing of the game, how it was jumping from like I knew like you do day 1, 2, 3, 4 with Ellie, and then you start day 1, 2, 3, 4 with Abby.
Yeah.
So you go back in time. I just wanted to go to day 4 with Abby. So it took for me took away the enjoyment of Abby's story a little bit because I just wanted to go to day 4 as soon as possible. And then on top of that, when that finishes, going back to Ellie again.
I thought we hit the end when we got to the
Yeah,
farm. I
me
thought that was
too.
the end.
Me too, which actually I think would be a very bad ending. But
Yeah.
um, I didn't want to play. This is the thing about the game. It made me feel really bad throughout the play. Like people say this is a great game or a rubbish game, and I feel it's like I heard someone say this before. It's a great game that makes you feel like rubbish, basically. At the last part when you say like you play with Ellie again, I just didn't want. I felt bad going into this mission of going to kill Abby again.
Yeah.
For people who doesn't know, just like sorry, like
Oh. Yeah.
you basically play as Ellie. You try to kill Abby, then you play as Abby, and then you have this moment where they both fight, but they both survive because Abby forgives Ellie.
Yeah.
And then
so basically,
you play.
Yeah. So
again.
basically, the first part of the game, you play as one character. In the second part, you play as another character that killed,
Joel.
that character's dad.
Yeah, we can
Joel.
say names.
Yeah.
This is all right.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever. And then at the end of the final act, they both meet, and then you see what happens when they,
Yeah.
Get basically punch all the daddy issues out of each other.
Because all of it is daddy issues.
So maybe that's the thing. I think that's what I want to say is that, overall, my main issue was the game wanted to tell a story. The game wanted to say one specific message, and I just was not sold on the message. Like you said, how people said the game is good at making you feel bad. I don't think the game did a great job of doing that. I think there are much more other indie games who made you feel things better than this game did. This game is so ham-fisted with all the violence. Like, do you remember like if I'm gonna bring up one specific example, there's this one point where Ellie saw one of the doctor friends of Dr. Fireflies, and when she ran into the basement, and then she was like, oh, she's coughing because of the spores, but Ellie's not. And then she's like, where's Abby? And I'm gonna warn you again. And so the cutscene just lingers there, and then the cutscene won't end until you press square, so you beat the lady to death.
Yeah.
And it's like, for me, I didn't feel like I know the game's trying to say, oh, this is you. You did this. You pressed square and you killed this lady. I didn't feel that. I felt like I was pressing square just sort of to progress the story, like pressing X on a dialogue in a JRPG. Like I was.
Well, I didn't.
That's
feel
me.
I necessarily didn't feel like bad doing that either. Like I just pressed square. I know, like probably they intended that.
That was the intention, I think.
But for me, it was more like a general like I didn't want to kill Abby, and basically so that was the hardest part. Like I was not I when I was playing as Ellie, I was interested, but I didn't want to kill Abby. And then when I was just playing as Abby, because we went back in time, I couldn't fully enjoy the story because I wanted just to go 4 days after.
Yeah.
And then when you go back to play as Ellie at the end, because you go again and try to find Abby one more time, I was like, no, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, it felt like a retread, right? It felt like we've done this before. We've done the whole Ellie looking for Abby thing. Why are we doing it again? Except this time out for 2 hours with a whole new set of enemies that we don't care about. But the Cobras, was it? Or the Vipers or something? Yeah. Weird to introduce a third faction. We got the Fireflies, the Wolves, and then that.
I think that will be like for part 3.
I don't think so. I think it's literally just they needed a neutral enemy so that you're not fighting wolves or fireflies again. It's just literally a neutral enemy.
Yeah, maybe. But,
I don't know. Who knows?
On a positive note, I want to say I was happy with the character development. So maybe I'm not very happy with the pacing of how they did like this, how they told the story, but I'm very happy how like Ellie needed personally to look for Abby again to grow out of this revenge story.
She had to do it twice.
Yeah, I mean, she had to do it twice. Like, I hoped she didn't have to, but she did. And I think I was happy with where the story ended for Ellie and for Abby. Like that's my positive note on the game.
I was gonna ask you. You said character development. I was gonna ask you which characters, because for me, some did better than the others. That's my opinion. Like, I think Abby. I feel like Abby's character growth is the only believable one to me. Um, like I actually question Ellie's rage,
No, I mean, I
and
question Alice Rage too.
like, would she actually be that angry? I mean, like, yeah, Joel died. Joel is a father figure. Yeah, like she would be upset, but is it how is she that bonded to Joel? Considering like she actually grew up with the lady from the first game much longer than she was with Joel.
Yeah, I
Um,
think they try to explain it as like at the end there is also like a scene where you go back to the past, and
yeah,
Ellie wasn't like talking to Joel, like they were not in very good terms,
yeah,
and then they actually made up like they said like, oh, let's try to be this kind of father and daughter figure, and then he died
mm.
after, right, like that happened just right before they killed
So it's
him.
more like unfinished business that's
So
motivating
yeah,
Ellie,
I feel
kind
like
of.
it's all messed up in Ellie's head. Like, basically, she's
Yeah,
like, "Oh, I have this opportunity now," and then they took it from me, right? Like in the best,
yeah,
and you can see like how she likes to write in her diary, and she cannot write anymore during the trip. Like she tries,
mm-mm.
she struggles to like paint and write, and she has all this kind of
Yeah,
uh
yeah,
syndrome, like I think she grows. It takes forever
yeah.
for her to do it, because you have to go in this trip twice. But I agree, like Abby's is way better. Like for me, like when she forgives Ellie, it's like such a great moment, because it's like
Yeah.
well, actually she killed Joel, so she got her revenge. And then um she kind of I don't know, like
Yeah.
Ellie killed all her friends right after,
Yeah.
right before they fight, and then she forgives her in the moment.
Yeah.
So I think that was like a very beautiful. I think Abby for me is my favorite character too. I agree with you.
Yeah, same, same. I love Abby. Well, Abby's the only character that chose to end the cycle of revenge, right? Even Joel's brother, I forgot what his name was. Even Joel's brother wanted revenge.
Yeah,
Like I feel like I'm just again, I'm not in an apocalypse. I don't know, but I feel like is revenge really that? Um, I don't know how much of revenge is actually on people's minds during an apocalypse. You get mad, you get angry, but would you go out of your way to do like all like feels like everyone's just thinking about revenge.
it's not um it's
And I
not like
guess
very original, let's say.
no, no.
Yeah.
And then I think I'm trying to think of that specific moment, right, where Ellie could have right at the very end of the game, like Ellie could have killed Abby, but she flashed back to that conversation with Joel, right? Again, I'm trying to be in that situation. I'm thinking like, why then? Why specifically there? Why at the point of almost getting your revenge that you only then you remember what Joel said to you that got to you? And I feel like it's nothing but just Naughty Dog saying, "Hey, this is the best narrative place for Ellie to realize this."
It is it you can say that as really random. I think it's just kind of
It's just convenient, narrative wise. It's
yeah.
convenient at
I
that
think
moment for it to happen.
I think just storytelling wise, like kind of this is a very dramatic moment, both of them fighting in the like at the end of the game, and
In
then
the yeah,
um
in the ocean, yeah.
yeah. I still
Oh.
I still prefer that than the game finishing in the farm. Because if
Yeah.
the game finishes in the farm, I don't see how Ellie did anything during the game, like how she grew as character. So
Would you say that like it would have been meant that like she also chose to end the cycle as well, right? Like
that's
if
the
she
thing.
chose,
She
yeah,
didn't. Abby did,
yeah,
but Abby chose to end the cycle for her. But then it doesn't mean like Ellie actually did end the cycle. So
that's true. That's true.
so for me, like I don't know, it was better to see like how they both eventually decided to
Yeah,
end the cycle.
I
I
w-
guess
mm.
I'm just
The
trying.
one thing I do
I'm trying
love.
to
Oh,
like the
sorry.
game. I'm trying to like the game, to be honest, at this
I
point.
I feel like yeah, I feel like I'm digging into this a lot, but I feel like all the good things people already talked about, so I'm just like bringing my hot takes into this.
Yeah,
It's a
like
good game. Like I played it twice.
um,
Um,
Yeah, like we love hot takes anyway. So and
My favorite thing about the whole thing
yes.
is still the relationship. I think the motivation for change for Abby, which is the relationship with her and Lev.
Oh yes, like we have to talk about that too. Um,
Mm.
so Lev is I guess allegedly trans.
It's implied but never said.
Yeah, it's never
Yeah.
said. Actually, that I was surprised about people say like because some people were actually saying like this is like social justice warrior game where like that Abby is less and no, Ellie is a lesbian and Abby is like super bulky and you know like
Mm.
there is and then also like a trans character. Personally, I didn't care to be honest. Like I'm very happy that there is a trans character in media if
Yeah.
he's trans. I think it's very needed. Like more trans
Mm.
characters make it to media, so that's a very good thing. I just was surprised that people were kind of some people were angry because there was a
There's always gonna be people like that.
yeah
All the angry teenage boys and all the
yeah.
all lives matter boys. Like that's inevitable. That's just part of gaming culture, unfortunately.
So yeah, I don't want to get very. I love to get political,
Political.
but
Yeah.
I see like this is the thing like some and I don't think this is the main like the gamers like the people who play this game. It's just the people who are very noisy. But I see like how
Yeah, it's the
killing
loud
like
majority, right?
they kill the straight
The straight white man.
yes they kill the straight white man and all the like LGBTQ people survive. um, so I guess like some people can get angry at that, and people maybe they don't feel they can relate with LGBTQ plus characters. But to be honest, like I don't know, I've been playing games all my life, controlling a white straight male, and I didn't feel like it's not relatable because I'm like kind of gay. So I don't know.
Well, yeah. I mean, like it's not like the game is not about a lesbian experience. It's
No,
just that
it's
the
not.
character happens to be a lesbian, so it
Yeah.
does. It's just a character. It's a character thing. It's not. You don't have to be lesbian to understand rage and revenge.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the story. So I don't think that's a valid criticism when people just say like they go
No,
too
most of
much.
them are not valid.
Yeah. Probably at this point when you're in a when you are in zombie apocalypse, you just fuck anyone to be honest. So
Yeah, you take whatever you can get.
you don't have many choices. Yeah, but how do you think? Like I don't know because obviously um I can
Hmm.
talk like from the point of view like trans community, but how do you think that character was portrayed as a trans character in the game?
I don't think it's problematic. I think it's good. I think it's good that there's a character like that. Um, yeah, I don't know.
What do you think about the story of the, like regardless of the character being trans or not, like what do you think about the story? Because there is a lot of criticism about the story also. like
Specifically with Lev.
yeah, when like he goes back to his mother and then he kills the mother.
Yeah.
And like Abby going after him and all this.
Oh, right. So the whole plot of like returning to the village and then that felt like a weird, unnecessary detour.
It
But
felt like that.
I think Naughty Dog just wanted to show off their fire physics.
Yes, like that part is the most beautiful part of the game. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
it's horrible. People are burning, are being burnt alive. There is like this kind of almost war between these two factions. But
Yeah.
it's beautiful, and
But Naughty Dog is notorious for that though. They always like they said it outright in interviews when they make like the Uncharted games, and I'm guessing maybe also the Last of Us games where they would think of the tech and the set pieces first and then they would try to wrap a story around it.
which it shows in this case.
It shows in every game that they made.
Yeah, I haven't played. I play only Uncharted 1 and 2 and The Last of Us.
Right, yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I was it was a little bit let down because I was very like hoping for this like story of Lev to be like really good, and I don't think it was that good, and I don't know why like people, but this is we are not experts, so this is
Yeah.
just our opinions. But from my point of view, it was because of what I said before. This was the fourth day of Abby's story, and I just wanted to go to the theater, to the cinema, and find
Just
Ellie.
to the confrontation, right?
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
wanted to know how it would end, and this was the last day playing as Abby, so I was like, oh, let's finish this. Like, I don't care about this anymore. So, I think it was needed for Abby to grow as a character, because the trigger that actually Abby goes out of this revenge cycle is because of Lev,
Yeah.
and what she learns about sharing these days with Lev and his sister.
But now the question would be like, if the goal is to get from day 4 to 5 as quick as we can, did we need the Abby segment? Could we have cut it? Could we have cut it off?
Like, not playing as Abby at all.
Yeah, because that was on purpose, right? The designers was like, I'm gonna make you play the character that killed someone you liked, so that you can understand that there's both sides to everything. And again, I just don't think it's a very effective thing, because we all know there's always two sides to things. I don't think we needed to play through Abby to get that. I enjoyed it. I'm glad that we had it. I love Abby more than Ellie.
Actually, that's the thing. Like, that's I think this links again with the game being more a movie than a game. Like, if this is a movie, you wouldn't care so much to see the Abby part, but as a game, you just want to control the hero or whoever the main character is. And I think, in my opinion, I really loved playing as Abby. But again, it's the same thing I've been saying before. Like, I just wanted to see how the story would finish. But if you cut all Abby's story and then you just watch, you will never know also the motivation why Abby is gonna forgive Ellie or anything like that. So there is like,
that's true. I don't know what's the best solution, because I feel like the other solution would be to cut between back and forth. That would also be,
well, I think that would be
pretty worst. Yeah. But some games do that. I keep thinking about how, like, and this might be a reference that people probably wouldn't get, but like, or maybe they would. I don't know. It's like, you know how like the Disney Sleeping Beauty, right? Like back in the day, like the 1960, and the villain was Maleficent, and then like a few years ago they released a Maleficent movie with Angelina Jolie.
Yes.
So this is 2 movies over like 40 years. I'm just thinking, like, imagine if they released Sleeping Beauty as a 3-hour movie, and for 1 hour it's Sleeping Beauty and the other hour is Maleficent. It's so weird, right? Like, it worked better because Maleficent was a separate movie. And I guess I'm thinking, would it have worked if Abby was, I don't know, not separate game, but just, it's because it's all in one game. It's so jarring. I don't know.
No,
I don't know. I don't know if there's a right solution to this.
I appreciate, to be honest, like they try to, because there is like, you sometimes you just want to play games to forget about things, but in this game you want to be involved in the story, and there is people, like, you want to believe that those people you are killing are actually real people, and they try to do that, like when they shout, like, you know, when you kill someone they shout the name.
They all have names,
like, it feels much more alive. And I think playing as Abby is also this kind of thing. People are very upset about being manipulated into like liking Abby and all the like side characters in Abby's story. And I don't feel manipulated. I think it's just, this is what it would be in real life.
Yeah.
You are Ellie and you are killing these people. These people have families, and you are seeing those, and they are showing you.
I do think though. I do think a lot of the outrage over like, oh, I don't want to play as Abby because Joel's my favorite. Like, I think a lot of the outrage actually comes from, and might not be intentional, but a convenient side effect, which is I think the people who watch Joel get killed off was going through the stages of grief, and that anger was very reasonably transferred into Abby. And I'm just wondering how, if we were to revisit this game now and ask those people if they were still as angry, right? Like, as they process the grief and the loss of this fictional character, because I think it might be different. You know, once you've processed the loss, who knows? There's no way to know unless you do a big survey.
Yeah, unless we go out and ask everyone. For me, I think I haven't played twice. I played once.
Mm-hmm.
But if I play again, I think I would be able to enjoy Abby much more. I enjoyed Abby, but I think I will be able to enjoy more because I already know
Yeah,
what's gonna
yeah.
happen. While before I just wanted
Mm.
to know what's gonna happen. So yeah, I think I would be able to enjoy it, and probably most of the people would too. I don't know.
I enjoyed it the second time round. When I played it on the realistic mode. Ooh.
Like you play in like hard mode or like a survival mode?
No, they've since I think it's survival. It's the patch where they turn it to realistic mode. So there's no UI and it's one hit death. I think it's just like in real
Ooh.
life. Um, so it's basically the hardest mode. I think it's harder than Survivor because no UI, there's no menus, no cursors or anything. It's just like you're holding a camera essentially. Very tough. No, I did want to ask you. So, what did you mentioned it before? What did you think about how every enemy had a name?
If we want games that make you feel like it's more like reality, well, this is the
Yeah.
way we need to go. So
See, that's the thing. I feel like it's overdone. I feel like maybe half the characters had names.
like, what do you mean? Like they were shouting names too much?
Yeah, like everyone had a name. It felt like I'm talking to you right now, right? I'm
Yeah.
not dropping your name every 10 seconds.
Well, they shouted
Right,
the name when they died. You know, like if I see you dying, maybe I would shout your name. If someone shoots you now.
I suppose, but sometimes it's just like, hey, Jeffrey, I'm gonna go patrol here. Hey, Jeffrey, I'm gonna do that, Jeffrey. Okay, Jeffrey. I'm exaggerating, but
Yeah, no, it could be. It could be like they need. It could be improved, but I think it's a good
yeah, I don't know.
tendency, like that they try to make it more realistic.
I think I get the intention because like I've played a fair few like indie games who like do those things where they make you feel things. Um, I think it's just too on the nose. There's no subtlety to this game. I think,
Yeah,
which I would appreciate more. I think I
there
don't.
is.
That's me.
I mean, there is no subtlety for like many things. Violence, which we can talk about that now too, if you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, I was. I think I have never played anything so violent as this game.
Ah.
And I must say that I actually didn't know. I played the Japanese version. The Japanese version is actually not as,
Is it censored?
yeah, it's a little bit censored.
I didn't know
So
that.
yeah, I didn't know either. Like actually I learned that when I finished the game. And I already thought when I was playing this is so freaking violent.
Right. How is it censored? Is it the camera pans away or do they just less
So
blood?
the sex scenes are censored. I didn't know
Mm-hmm.
that. So I missed all the juicy sex. Which is ridiculous in my opinion because you have people like killing each other, but having sex is wrong.
Yeah. That's
And
a whole messy issue.
yeah, but not that, like for example, like, I think like I saw some videos in YouTube after to compare, like when you sometimes like shoot someone, you can dismember it, the body, like the leg will.
I
Like,
had no idea.
You don't know. you
Because I played it stealth the whole way twice.
You didn't kill anyone.
I never shot anyone. If I killed someone, it was with stealth, like just suffocating them. I never actually like shot anyone because I don't like shooting people. If I have the choice in any game.
Wow. Well, good.
So
for
I didn't
you.
know that. That's a mind. I'm gonna play it again, third time by blowing everything up.
Yeah, like just blow like apparently you dismember people or like it's like
That's pretty cool.
There is not so much blood jumping around in the Japanese game, and also you don't dismember. Like if you shoot someone,
they just fall down.
Yeah, fall, and then you see blood, but
I had no idea.
Not as much as. But the cutscenes are very bloody, and the cutscenes are the same in Japanese, I think, in the Japanese game.
except for the boobies.
Yeah, no sex, no body.
Right.
Yeah. So, but I felt like I don't have the answer to this, but I feel like do we need so much violence to tell this story? And I don't know. I felt like sometimes maybe we did, but sometimes maybe we didn't. I don't know.
I have my answer to a very subjective issue. I feel like I'm a big horror and gore fan, but not in a gratuitous way. I think there is gratuitous violence, and then there's like tasteful violence. There's violence that you include in your media, movies or whatever, games, to say something, and then there's gore and violence just to shock people. And I feel like with Last of Us, we're veering into the shock moment, because like showing someone getting blown up does not add to your message. You're just doing it just as a shock, and I feel like Game of Thrones does that a lot too. Like sometimes the violence is just so that people, oh shit, this thing happened, I'm going to tweet about it. Like they're trying to go viral. Um, it's not tasteful. That's how I feel about it. It's shock for the sake of it.
So you think they overdid it? They
I
didn't
think
need
so. Like I think, I mean, even if they kept the violence the same, but like you know how like in movies the camera pans away from the violence, like the camera sort of like you don't like if someone strikes someone on the head, they don't show the actual moment, but the camera cuts away.
Yeah.
Like the violence is the same, but you don't show it because your mind fills in the blank, and I feel like it's a very tasteful way of doing it. It's a very classy way of doing things. Whereas you're showing someone's head bust open, brains everywhere, it just feels like it's. I don't even want to say it's too much because it's not. It's not that it's too much. It's just unnecessary, right? That's kind of how I feel about it.
It's almost sometimes feels like also there are like two kind of stories, like the non-violent story in the game and like the extreme. You go from very beautiful moments like Ellie playing the guitar,
Yeah.
to heads being open with all
Yeah.
the brains. So it feels like very like it's like a roller coaster, to be honest. And I guess that's the thing I like about the game is it made me feel those things. I know that you said like maybe
Yeah.
it didn't make you feel, but it made me feel horrible. That's for sure. So that's the thing.
It did its job, which is great. That's something I could give them points for. I'm not saying I didn't feel bad. Yes, I did feel bad, especially when you had to kill that dog.
But that's the thing. Did you feel the dog? People were so angry about that too.
The mandatory dog murder.
Yeah,
that you
was
cannot
a little
skip.
bit gratuity too. But
that felt like shock for shock's sake. I don't know.
Do you think now I've been talking to you now. I'm feeling actually I'm kind of absorbing your opinion now. I feel like
oh no,
there were so many things that were not needed that I feel like this game is gonna go down from. I have it considered as one of my game of the year. No,
it's in my top 5.
It's a piece of art, to be honest. Whether you like whether you like the story or not that they are telling is another theme, but the quality wise, this is marvelous.
It's I can't think of I just don't think not a lot of people can make games the way Naughty Dog does, and it does help that the game is linear. It's not open world, so you could put more resources into developing those levels, and they're really great levels. The level design is actually amazing. The way that the game leads you, the game, it's a linear game. The game knows it's a linear game, but the level design is just open enough where you almost sometimes forget it's linear. There are moments where you go into like empty towns and you can go into these houses and loot. And it's like they managed to find that balance, I think.
No,
because a lot of story-based games like this are very linear. Like you feel it. You're just walking down a hallway.
Yeah, like how they use the buildings when you have to climb those buildings, like you can explore the building. It's like a whole town inside the building.
Yeah.
How they use
all the different floors.
Like you have to go into like this boat also to go through the city because it's all flooded because of global warming, I guess. So
I think just burst pipes.
I don't know why the city was flooded, but apparently there was some reason. But like how they use all these like environments is awesome. Like that's one of the reasons I want to replay the game, to actually take the time to enjoy the views.
The level design in this game is truly the best Naughty Dog has done, I think. Like I think about the second game versus the first game. The first game is great, but like it didn't have the scale. The scale of the second game is, for a linear non-open world game, had so much to explore, which is very interesting. Especially all the little, like the letters and the documents that you find, and that's a pretty standard video game thing these days. But they do it so well.
Yeah. I have a problem with reading things during the game, like like okay, this is not I don't have problem reading things. Like, I love JRPGs, so I read a lot in games, but I think this is the second game, I believe, second or third game I played on stream when I was streaming. So I just felt like reading a lot was really boring for people watching. So I struggle to also like
I see that. I see that.
also I'm not native English speaker, so I try to pronounce my best when I'm reading those things when I'm doing the streaming. So it's hard to actually input the story what I'm reading to take the message.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I'm just trying to do my best.
You're thinking about the streaming and the audience. Yes. I get that.
So I feel like I miss some of that part of the game to see if I play it again. I want to play it off stream, so I could fully enjoy those things and take the time to just stop whatever I want. So yeah,
I get that.
I have one more question. Like, will there be The Last of Us Part 3?
Yes, because money.
Do you think it's because of money or because they actually want
Of course.
Do you think the creators
don't...
for the creators the story is finished? Or do you think the creators still want to talk about this?
Well, a few of the core members of the development left, right? One of the head writers left halfway in Last of Us 2. And I think I think the only person left is the director, the important people. So it's hard to say what Naughty Dog's gonna do with that. Whether or not there will be a part 3 or not is a yes. Whether or not there needs to be one, that's a whole different question.
Do you think that there is a need for part 3?
For me, I have no opinion. I feel like it ended as it should, and I don't know. I'm trying to think what threads I want to explore. Right, like maybe I don't know. I don't know. I'm open. I'm open. That's my answer. It's a boring answer.
No, it's totally fine. If there is part 3, would you like to play as Ellie or as Abby or someone else?
I think Abby's story's done. I think maybe she'll come back as a DLC.
What about Lev? What about Lev?
As an MC?
Playing as Lev.
I will play. I will play it. I'll play everything.
Me too.
It's just I'm just thinking if The Last of Us is focused on Joel and Ellie's story, like I feel like if like a lot of people suggested, the story is going to go into talking about like immunity and like what about Ellie's immunity? Are we going to talk about that more? And I feel like if we put the focus on that, that's less about character and more about the world now. And I think the story would weaken because of that. If they zoom out of a character and just talk about the world, I think it would weaken it.
Yeah, I don't see how they left The Last of Us 1 pretty open, so we knew there would be like more. I don't see how. I mean, I'm open like you for possibilities, but I don't see how it would be a good game if you have a part 3 where Ellie just sacrifices herself and they find a cure. Like,
because it undoes the first game.
It's really happy ending, right? But I kind of not want to watch it because there is something about this game not being about a zombie cure and being about the characters. So if you go to a third part where and now we're gonna solve all the problems, it's just it doesn't feel natural.
I think exactly. I think ultimately the series is about the characters. And they're just in a setting that happens to be apocalypse, but we're not trying to solve the problem. I don't know. I think whether or not there's going to be a part 3 will depend if they find a new theme, right? The first theme is about like sacrifice. The second theme is about vengeance. If they can think of a third theme that makes sense, I can see it happening. Just got to convince us that it's a worthy theme to explore, I think.
So from 0 to 10, what would you?
Oh God, I hate number scales.
I mean, if you don't want, you don't have to do it. But
no. I'll put an arbitrary number. What's yours first?
I do that all the time. Like I have my Agus score. I actually don't know what I gave to the game. I try to do this like kind of after like 1 or 2 weeks I played the game. So what did I give? The Last of Us 2. Ooh, oh my god, it's very high. I didn't know.
9.5.
9.6.
That's so specific.
Yes.
Oh man.
I'm a scientist.
I think I'm jaded. You know, I can't think of a game that I've played that I would say 10 out of 10.
You
Or
never
even
gave
9.
it a,
I feel
you never gave a 10 to a game.
I don't think so. I'm too critical of stuff.
You are one of those kind of people who there is always room for improvement, so you don't give 10s.
Yeah, exactly. I would give Last of Us 2 8.1.
Why 1? Don't copy
Because
me.
you had a decimal and I wanted a decimal too.
I'm gonna have 2 decimals next time.
Okay.
So yeah. Well, I think we are gonna end it there. Can you tell me? Well, tell everyone where they can find you.
I have other accounts, but they're not active, so please don't search for them. But I am semi-active on Twitch. Hi, I'm Derek Tan, all one word. So you can find me there. I stream a mix of games, trying to figure that out, but it's always gonna be a fun time.
Yeah, I'm gonna plug Derek in the description of the video, so you can just go and search for him and follow him everywhere, please. You can also and he's active in Twitch, not semi-active. So yes, just go and watch him. It's very fun. He's very fun playing Resident Evil 7. I think you are still playing Resident Evil 7, right? VR.
One more session left.
Ooh. I need to watch that final boss. You can find me at AguskunJP in Twitch. If you liked it, please subscribe. Press the I have to do this like press.
Where is it? We're gonna point in the right direction.
Press the like button anywhere it is. And share it with anyone you think might enjoy this video. Thank you so much. Next time we will be talking about I think Final Fantasy VII Remake. Yes. Which might be my favorite game of the year. Who knows? It's another of the candidates of game of the year, so I'm very excited about that. So thank you so much, Derek.
Thanks for having me.
No,
yeah, thank you. It's super fun.
Thank you. I hope you have a great end of the weekend. It's Sunday evening in Melbourne.
Yes.
Right? See you next time. Thank you so much, Derek.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye, everyone. Bye.